It's now 6:30. It's now 6:30. So I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Select Board on Monday, November 28th, 2016. First is the approval of minutes. We have two sets, our regular meeting on November 21st, and then a special meeting on November 22nd that Mike Rolo and I attended, and we are going to table these so that we can all have a chance to look at them, which didn't happen. All right, next on the agenda is community input. We have some folks here, so.
That would be it.
Okay, would you like to come up, or please do it?
We're from the rec committee.
Excellent, nice to see you.
We are just coming to inform the board, we did meet yesterday and we will meet again tomorrow. We have started forming the budget, and it looks like roughly $20,000 will be coming in to cover salaries from, what I want to say, tuition fees on a weekly basis. We did raise the tuition fees. We did put a family max in for families of 3 or more. And we are looking at another large chunk of money, roughly half that, to cover special events and stuff, which we're still trying to hash out. So if we could, we'd like to present that next week. Since we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, we'd like to hash out the budget and get the details all.
So you are feeling that you will have a budget to present to us by next Monday?
A more stable one than we have
All right,
currently.
that's encouraging news. So that's wonderful, congratulations.
I think, yeah, and so I think what we need to do is to know, I know some people are supposed to send emails. I mean, I sent an email to be appointed, so I don't really know how that works.
It happens during this meeting, so
Okay.
it would happen. No worries, no worries.
Okay, so, yeah, to make us a formal committee to do anything, you know, we have to be right appointed. I did bring my daughter here. My daughter Shelby has been to summer rec for years, and I did want her to say a few things, Shelby, about your experience. I wanna. So this is one of my 5. So my 5 have been a big part of the summer rec program. So just go ahead, tell them what you want to say.
I mean, I like summer rec, but last year it was
Different.
different. Yeah.
Tell them what you like about it.
I like that all my friends can come and we can play sports together, and
What would you be doing if you weren't at summer rec,
at home. I have to watch my brothers.
Which isn't so fun. So, so you would like to see the program? I want you to say that to them.
I don't want the summer rec.
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments and
Thank
letting
you.
us know.
Thank you. You can go back.
I can also speak to that too, because I really don't want to see it end. My kids went there. I went there when I went to Rollinsford, and it was a great program. I know it's changed a little, but it was great. You could go there and hang out with your friends. You had sports you could play. You had activities inside, and it was just a good place to go instead of watching TV all day, or, so it'd be nice to have it continue.
We appreciate that,
Christine, Constantakis.
One of our concerns is that the program wasn't offering the same level of programming that it had in the past. That was one issue. There were a couple of issues, but that was definitely one of them. So, but to go back, so thank you, we appreciate that. To go back to, I think you were about to ask us a question of practicality or something.
Well, I mean, I'm actually been really pretty excited about kind of reformulating the program. And I've made a bunch of phone calls. I have some ideas about talking to people at UNH that have the recreation management program. I would love to, I mean, we had 5 or 6 adults that came, parents that came yesterday that, everybody's kind of got an idea of what they want to see. And I think, we'd love to talked about sending a survey to the school about getting input from what families need, what they're looking for, what they'd like to see their kids doing. I mean, to me, right now, we have just a clean slate to do and run a great program. I think there's enough interest, and I can actually tell you, I went through the registration book that I got from Kayla the other day, and what's that piece of paper on there? I have my numbers, oh, here it is. So the registration book, we had 62 Rollinsford families that were enrolled, and we had 11 out-of-town families. So there were 98 Rollinsford kids there, and 14 out-of-town kids had signed up. So when we talk about, just continuing the program, I mean, that really is a pretty big number to tell people to look for something else that really is not as affordable as what we have offered. And we did talk about going up in fees, but, very reasonable, I think, as compared to anybody else in the area. So, we could potentially have a pretty good group from out of town. We did have 11 out of town families that came to our summer rec last year. I think what we need to do is, try, I think we're gonna really need to try and put a line in our budget. I don't see, how we can be formulating this committee this late in time. We need to get together and figure it out and crunch some numbers, and it's a very short period of time, but I think it's hard to expect us to run a revenue neutral program the very first year out of the gate, So I think we are gonna need a number on that line, and maybe we'll have a better idea of that next week. My question to you is, what's the latest date that we could possibly present? I think last week you actually said there was a little bit of flexibility in there,
Before I get to the date, let's go back to the revenue neutral.
Yep.
And so, and let's say you would still require let's just say $20,000 as subsidy for the town.
Yeah.
But let's say the program was going to cost $40,000, and let me try a different number, so it's not even, $50,000, and you expected to bring in $30,000 of revenue, $20,000 would be the subsidy from the town, okay? We would need to know that $50,000 number on the expense side, as well as the $30,000 on the revenue side. So we need to know what that entire number is what we think those expenses in total are going to be, as well as what you're going to balance it off with. Now, would we like to see, the detail on all of this? Of course. If when you talk to us, you've got a reasonable way to justify how you think this is going to fly, we may feel we don't need the same level of detail that we might normally expect. But at this point, I'm going to stop talking and make sure that the board, see what the board feels about this, and then we can talk about the dates. Anyway.
Ralph, you can go first.
They met yesterday and they were very eager to get started. It was a whole new group of people that are in the program now and had some great ideas. I explained the revenue neutral that this board wanted, and I said, well, I'll take that information back to the board. You guys already did.
So
further in the agenda, we have recreation on our agenda to make appointments to this advisory committee. Jody, you have a list of the folks that have volunteered. I mean, I know a few people sent an email, but I don't know, did other people volunteer?
I have a list of everybody that offered.
Yeah.
Not everybody was able to make it yesterday.
Sure. Yeah.
And the people also sent a list of technically wanted to be appointed as well.
Okay.
My other question that I wanted to bring to you guys was, after reading the letters that were from last year and the concerns from last year, I really want one of us, I'm assuming me, to be at these meetings and to make sure that they're public and to make sure that they're noted, just to make sure that like, we know who's on the committee, we know who's working it, and, because one of the questions was the storage of the equipment that was donated is, was asked to
equipment
be,
that was donated?
there was equipment after Brian passed away that was donated to the summer rec program. And it's at Tia's house apparently, and she asked to leave it here, but she asked Kate, no one asked us.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So
All right,
I just
so we
feel
have
like
that to take care of.
if it's a operation of the town, it should come through us. So, or be
Absolutely.
notified.
Yeah, no,
You know.
absolutely. I think
So-
we've already appointed you as ex officio to
Exactly.
the prior rec committee.
Right.
So,
So I
yes.
just feel like I should be at the meetings and they should be notified and publicly notified and so on and so forth.
So we have a list of folks that want to
Yeah.
volunteer, so of the folks that want to volunteer, much like the planning board or budget committee is a little different because they're elected, but they still elect their own chair. So once we appoint whoever has said they want to do this, at your next meeting, you'll want to elect a chair. And then, but Jody's right, all the meetings would need to be noticed, so, and we can help you with that. You can let your, it might be to your benefit also to elect a clerk or a secretary of the group so they can keep minutes. You really should be keeping minutes. And you can just forward those on to us and we can make sure that they're on the town website. But all the meetings would need to be noticed as well. But we can help you with the sort of the procedural things. We don't want to scare anyone away, but thank you for stepping forward and wanting to do this.
Well, and I guess my concern too is, I don't wanna skip a summer. I think if we skip a summer, it really becomes a much bigger problem. I think we need to, if we're gonna do it, we definitely need to be on board for this summer, and I think, we were talking, there was a lot of kind of, the bad kind of news was around, we need to get out and talk about the new program when we figure it out,
Right.
that it's different, it's new, and it's exciting, and it's safe, and it's gonna be a great place.
Maybe as a suggestion in the meantime, because I think it's very admirable wanting to create a new program, but obviously there were some flaws with the old system, shall we just say. But recreating the wheel this late in the game is going to be difficult. Maybe trying to replicate a scaled back version of something that Somersworth or Dover, one of the other towns, using their
Absolutely.
bylaws, that sort of thing, or their regulations, however they phrase it in that town. It might be to your advantage, and then going forward.
Yeah, and I
I know
actually,
there
that's
are a
another
number of
person.
safety concerns.
Yeah,
that
I
we
talked to
have,
the
so.
Somersville rec director last week, so I had their whole program.
Because that,
In front of
we
me.
don't have to have that I dotted right now,
Right.
but
Yeah.
certainly before registration happens, we'll want to be chatting with you about the kinds of
Right.
things that we feel as a board we need to ensure before the program goes forward. But right now, the issue, as we know, is the budget,
Right.
right?
So, sorry to interrupt. Addressing the points that were just brought up, it was brought up in our meeting yesterday that we really need to have the organizational chair, vice chair, or co-chairs, and secretary and stuff, so that things don't fall through the cracks like they have in the past, and that
Right.
somebody's attentively making sure that the committee is getting done what they need to do, and each individual
Right.
that gets assigned a task has somebody to report to.
Yeah.
So that was brought up yesterday in our meeting. And then, the other thing that I was thinking of is, since I'm on the historic committee, that's my only reference, and we've used the Google Drives efficiently, and it's been helpful to the historic committee, and I was just thinking maybe with help from the board, we could set up a
It's already set up, for the original or whatever. So we'll just need to make the accommodations for the new group, the new email, but same folder structure, all of those kinds of things already exist for a recreation committee.
So I would, since I'm already on the committee, if
That would be lovely, you would know how it works.
And I could like put a folder on there for budget, and then we can have our working budget on there, and then if you guys need to review it, I think you guys have access to that folder too.
We would.
You may have found your clerk of your committee.
All right, perfect.
So, to go back to dates.
Yeah.
So, we are presenting the total town budget to the budget committee the 21st, and we are the last one, so that's the very last slot. And we need to have, before then, the board needs to have given its okay to what we're gonna be presenting. So, the absolute latest that the board has to review its budget is its final budget is the 19th. So then it looks like the 12th is the very last date.
Can we do that?
We're gonna try our best to do that.
Well,
Sure.
let me give you let me try to give some encouraging words. First of all, this is gonna blow the town budget completely out of the water, because, we've already made adjustments. So, but nonetheless, this is a group of citizens, residents, you're all excited, you wanna do this, so we wanna see if we can help. So, again, you don't, you have to present a budget that's defensible, but it doesn't have to tell us that, you're gonna pay your counselors this much, you know what I mean? It
Right.
doesn't have to be completely detailed. We need to know, and we're gonna ask you questions, and the budget committee will too, we need to know that you can defend that amount that you're asking for. In other words, that with that amount, you can provide a program that deals with the concerns that we have, and perhaps it's the programming concerns that we were also hearing about. Ours are, first and foremost, we're safety and supervision,
Right.
and secondarily, not that it wasn't important, but, the programming was after. So expenses, revenue.
And we're going to be trying to make it revenue neutral. However, because some of these things are voluntary, when we just had our meeting yesterday, we found out some people were paying for the full week and only sending their kids 2 or 3 days. Or people were paying to go, and then they weren't going on the field trips for an extra cost. So there may be a little play in the end where we'll try and match it.
That's
the best
kind of
both.
us getting to revenue neutral, I think.
But let me repeat, again though, we need to know what you expect your expenses to be, even though you're gonna try to cover them all with revenue.
Right.
Because the town can't spend what isn't in that budget. So even if you get, let's say you think expenses are gonna be $30,000, you think you're gonna be able to generate $30,000. You need to know both of those figures, the $30,000 on this side and the $30,000 on the other side. So just keep that in mind. And, if it's not revenue neutral, we're gonna struggle with that, but we're also gonna try to see if we can make it work.
We're gonna strive
make it
for
work.
as close as we can.
Yeah, so, and I think all appreciate what you've done so far, and wish you well.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I think, anybody else?
You're meeting again Tuesday night?
Tomorrow night at 6:30.
So, I'm meeting with the stormwater committee, so we're probably smaller than you are, so we'll probably go in the planning board room there.
Oh, thank you.
'Cause it looks like this is a bigger group, so we'll go next door.
Do you want to listen now?
And we might be calling a meeting on Sunday, so once the full committee is, everybody that has kind of, and then that way we can hopefully be ready for you next. Oh, wait, it'd be 2 weeks, you're giving 2 weeks.
I hope I don't regret that.
But if we play on Sunday, we can at least get some basics done, and then we can fit in what we need to.
And we do have some names. Jody will be presenting some names to us later in this meeting to
Okay.
appoint to the Recreation Committee.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that, and then, as Mike said, we would expect then that you would elect a chair.
And Jody, you might have more names tomorrow, right?
I've got 2 more today, I
Okay.
just sent,
Yeah,
I
that's
literally
okay,
just
we
sent
can
out
appoint
a
some
copy
again
of
the
email.
following week, so.
Do you want to just do that list now, since it's in front of me?
Sure,
Four of them are
sure,
here.
I don't have an objection, do you like?
And I'll forward you the email.
Except that I know one of them said appoint as chair, we don't do that, the committee
Right.
itself elects the chair.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Thanks.
Okay, I make a motion to appoint Kelly Anderson, Denise Knowles, Cynthia Leopold, Emily Leach, Dan Calty,
Quality.
Thank you.
It's a hard one.
Gina Javaris, Liberty Roach, I'm screwing. Blowowski, I'm gonna email you the correct spelling. Kathy Roselli, Michelle Small, Lester Wall, and Roxanne Carl.
Yeah.
First and
Dan's
second,
the
any
timer.
questions, or?
So, I don't have an objection to appoint all of them, but is it necessary to appoint every single one of them? You could have your core members and you could have people that assist, you don't have to, just as.
It is a big committee.
And,
Well, I just figured I'd put everybody in
Yeah,
and
so-
let them step
Take a
back
back
as they
seat.
wish.
and Michelle Small.
But that doesn't mean all those folks can't still work with you,
Yeah,
but they don't
correct.
necessarily have to be official members, so.
Correct.
Michelle Small and Denise Knowles and myself were already appointed in March.
Okay, so you don't need to reappoint them then.
You can
Actually, we can amend it.
Well, I just wanted
You
to.
can- Emily thinks that
Emily
she would
Leach is
recommend
asking,
it.
I think, to her name would come
Yeah,
on.
she knows how long the list is.
You're staying on the, you still want to stay on the
I
email?
would pitch in when necessary, but I would be happy to not be on the official
All right,
part.
so would you like to read the list again, and just not have Michelle,
No.
Celia, and
Okay.
or whatever the
Denise and
Denise
Emma.
knows.
Okay.
Scratch that motion, whatever the parliamentary process is. Go ahead.
Move to appoint to the Recreation Committee. Kelly Anderson, Dan Colton,
Cullity.
Sheena Javaris, Liberty Roots, Dee Nathowski, Kathy Roselli, Lester Wall, and Roxanne Carl.
It's actually Dean Neatalk.
Just make sure you have it right.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a tough one.
It's spelled.
I think it's spelled correctly.
I cut and pasted.
It's okay. Mike seconds. Any other questions on this? And all those in favor say aye.
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 So thank you.
Thank you so much. We wish you well.
Tomorrow, after you elect your chair though, I think probably the best thing for whoever the chair is to coordinate with Mrs. Lamp, with our administrative assistant, and then she can assist with making sure the meetings are posted. That's typically what happens with the other committees, so. I'm assuming you've
You're
led
looking
the
right
charge
at me.
so far, Mr.
I
Anderson,
know.
you would probably be elected chair, but if you are,
Yeah.
you would just work with Caroline and she will make sure the meetings are noticed, because they really do need to be, for the public meeting, so anyone can come and attend.
And that
Okay,
was,
so it's not, I guess that would be a question of mine, because so the committee, it's not necessarily just a committee meeting, it's whoever.
Well, it's like this. So this is a meeting of us.
Yeah.
It's not a meeting of,
Yeah.
this is our meeting. We decide to open it up
Yeah.
at the beginning of a meeting to see if there's any public input.
Yeah.
But it has to be public. The public can always watch us as we
Right.
meet,
Okay.
unless we decide to go to non-public session. So it would be like that. You would be conducting your meeting.
Yeah.
If there were people, they're not necessarily there to speak. They're there to watch you do your business in public.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay,
if that helps.
that sounds interesting.
That's the nature of municipal government.
and there are certain reasons which we can have non-public, like hiring or interviewing.
Jody would be able to help you out with that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay?
There really shouldn't be any reason, though, at this stage in the game to go into non-public.
Right.
And that was a concern of one of the members yesterday who came to the meeting and said, I've been trying to be part of this for a long time, but I was never aware of when the meetings were.
Hopefully that will end, that will change.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
For your
Good luck.
willingness
We appreciate it. Any other community input? Yes, Charles?
I got a quick question. Who's supposed to open the town hall when the zoning board meets?
Well, yeah, that's a
Chair
really
of the
good
zoning
question. I suspect, I would imagine that the chair of the zoning board should make sure that,
He doesn't have a key.
should make sure that somebody is here to open it up, if it's not standard hours.
That's
So
right.
the chair of the zoning board used to have a key, what happened to his key?
Change
I
the
have no
law.
idea. It was a dropped ball and a lack of communication.
Yes, Nancy?
What actually, he informed you guys the night before on Monday night that the zoning board was going to be the next night.
Who informed us?
We got a letter. I know, we got a letter from zoning and our correspondence.
As an advisor, right?
As an an abutter? Yeah, as an abutter.
No,
Yeah, it was our letter as an abutter because of the property that was under.
It didn't say anything asking.
It wasn't.
oh, no, but I mean, I think because usually either Caroline or Kate comes and opens up, I guess, that's what he had said.
Well, all right, it's an administrative issue, we'll handle it administratively, but you asked, my response is, if I were chair of a committee, I would want to check with somebody to make sure that the building is open if it were non-standard hours. So,
The town clerk was off that day.
the meeting was at night.
I know, but I imagine that she makes.
Well, I don't,
Here.
we'll handle it, we'll talk
Right,
about it.
right.
I appreciate it. Okay, let me get back to my agenda if I can. Be able to. We're into department heads, though, I sort of know. Oh, is there another, I'm sorry, yes, sorry, so sorry.
Yeah. Can't sit through our whole meeting.
No.
I have 3 trees I need to get taken down, and I'm wondering about how I get permission to get a crane on the town shed property, which abuts my property. The only way to get them down safely without wrecking my septic or my leach field is to pluck them from that property over, because it's just basically right on the other side of the fence.
Are you the new house?
No,
No, you're on the,
it's on the east side of the old town shed.
well, off the top of my head, don't know the answer to that. I suspect we just need to give you an easement. So we'll check on that with the municipal association to see whatever language we need to.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just, like, right now, it's very preliminary, I don't even know if I can afford it yet.
Yeah.
I gotta, I know Burke does work around here, he's done work for the town and on my property before. I just didn't know if there was any specific thing I needed to do, to do that.
An easement.
Well, no, but we have a septic back there too, I think. So that might be,
So, okay, so
that
that's,
might be a problem too.
We
okay.
can check, we got a schematic from the brownfields
Yeah,
folks.
that's right. There's something back there. so
Yeah.
I'm aware,
Okay.
but-
Yeah,
Well, there used to be, like gas tank, when they used to fill up, so those tanks, I don't know if they're still there or not, but
Hopefully.
that's the only thing I can think of that would be
Yeah.
there. But from what I've seen them do, they wouldn't need to get that close, just in the center where they normally turn the trucks around. And there's plenty of room to, to do that. It's just kind of getting a feel for what I need to
We
do.
wouldn't have an objection to that. We just need to figure out how we can.
Okay, so I'll see, I guess all I really need to know is, as long as there isn't an obvious objection at this point, I can proceed to finding out how much it's even gonna cost, because I might not even be able to do it, so.
we might want, just for, purposes of having everything straight, just have you sign it or provide an easement for you,
Okay,
right?
so, but I can just come
Before we
back.
do that, now that we've
Yeah.
raised the issue about septic and gas tanks, we would want to see, so if you could, maybe when we find the schematic, I'm sure you've given your name to Salme or us, or we don't have your name, it would be helpful.
Could you write your
Caroline's
name and a
gonna-
phone number?
Oh, yeah. My name's John Philippi, by the way.
Thank you, John.
Name and what?
And a phone number.
So we can get a hold of you.
Or an
because
email
we'll-
address if you prefer.
We'll take a look to see if, on that brownfield study, if anything pops up as far as, because they were checking around for
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
Right.
And then we'll come up with some sort of easement. Sort of like what we needed to get when we brought equipment onto people's, like, property when we did Partridge Lane.
Tell us, right? We might not need to, but it's our property. It's not actually gonna go onto his property, right? So we might just have them tell me where it's there or something. They're gonna let us know that.
Right, right. Okay.
I'm just saying, the municipal association may suggest it's not as complicated as granting a temporary easement. It's just, I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. All right. So sorry that I overlooked you, but we will be in touch. It may take us a little,
Wait, overlook, what do you mean, overlook?
I didn't.
Oh, no, not so. Thanks. Yeah, it's,
He didn't.
so all I really gotta do is I'll find out and I'll hear from you or whatever, but like I
Well,
said,
keep in touch. If you're not hearing from us, just check back in. But
Yeah.
those are the things we're gonna be,
And the other thing too is coming into winter, the best time to cut it, when the ground's frozen, it would be, that's another added safety, is it would be frozen, no leaves, sort of thing.
Also, if you decide not to do it, if you can't afford to, or otherwise decide not to, if you could let us know so that we're not spinning wheels over something that's not gonna happen.
Well, then don't do anything right now then until I find out if I can afford it.
Okay.
all right, we
I'll
may
get
start
back to
though,
you.
something, we may do
Just
some
because
local start.
I gotta
Yeah.
make sure some things, yeah. So, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Good luck.
Take care. All right. Yeah, department head business, you're it. You're our only customer tonight.
Excuse me.
You know,
Right there.
Good evening.
absolutely.
Two purchase orders. The first is number 878, made out to Seacoast Radicare, in the amount of $72. Line item number 716, preventative health, and that was for the medical exam for our newest police officer. That's it.
Oh, thanks. That's 700, I'm like, that's the heck of an exam he had, he or she had, but.
Move to accept purchase order 878 to Seacoast Medicare for one medical exam for $72.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, purchase order number is 871, made out to Staples. Line item 505, our supply account. Staples was having a sale on paper for Friday and Saturday only, where you purchased a case of paper for $51.99. And with the rebates, the final cost is actually $9.99. So I picked up 4 cases for the police department. So the initial bill and two boxes of Staples. So the initial bill will be $217.54, but once we get the rebates, the actual cost will be $39.96.
Nicely done.
Move purchase order number 871 to Staples for paper and staples, the amount of $217.54.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The last item that I have is the floor downstairs. Over the weekend, some of the tiles popped up enough where they're actually tripping hazards, so I removed 2.5 tiles. And it's located in the area where the secretary is at the front window there. So just to make you aware of the fact is, it's still rising. Now it's at the point where some of the tiles are beginning to pop up and crack.
So next week, Steve Height is coming to present his preliminary report to the board. I think it's between 7 and 7:30, something like that. So you may want to,
I'll be here for that.
yeah, to be here to listen. And the next step, assuming that, the board is satisfied with the work done to date, he will then go off and do a bid package for us. So that, and may actually, I don't know if he's still gonna say this, but at one point early on, we were just kind of talking about things. He said he may actually try to put it out to bid and have as the language that it's dependent upon, the town meeting.
Town meeting, correct.
But that would give us a, if we were to do that, if that's still something he thinks we should do or could do, that would give us a figure to present to the town. So that's where that is, so. There's no water, it's just, it's popping.
Yeah. Because we have 2 layers of cement on there. You have the original layer, and then you have the self-leveling stuff on top of that. The moisture gets in between the two, and the self-leveling is much thinner than the original, so it gets in that crevice and just pops everything up.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, the earliest that we're going to be able to work on it is after town meeting,
Yeah.
assuming a successful vote.
We may have to build a temporary subfloor or something down there.
Well, I want, yeah, yeah, I want
If it
that,
gets any worse, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep us posted, but
Yeah.
we'll have to, we'll have to do something if it becomes unsafe.
And thank you for the permission to edit. I did
Oh,
take
okay,
care
I
of that
saw, I
today,
haven't
so.
looked at it, but I saw that you added some things,
Yeah.
some, those sections, so thank you.
Okay.
Were you
And-
okay with the rest of the stuff?
Yes, yeah, it was actually, you did a very good job. And the last item was, I sent you, the select board an email concerning the run out in Scotland for next April, indicating that I asked him for a copy of the insurance rider and to hold the town of Rollinsford, not liable for any injuries or whatever that may occur during this event. So just to protect the town.
And has he, that?
Not as of yet.
He hasn't responded, okay. All
We
right,
haven't taken it, so.
thank you. Should we, is there any reason to keep that on the list, or?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Once I get it, or if I haven't sent it, if you send it directly to Caroline, we'll get it eventually.
okay,
So between the two of us, we'll make sure that we do get it before the event does happen.
okay, very good. Thank you, thank you very much. Anything else from?
Have we found the title?
We have not, but I have sent a request for a yes.
Okay, so we had a discussion, but I don't think you were here when we talked about it. You were talking to the person that would know, or the town clerk perhaps. In the past, what have we done with our titles for our vehicles? Are they?
Generally, in the past, they've been sent upstairs here, and sometimes they're given to me,
Okay,
because I have a folder for each of the cruisers.
okay,
However, I have the titles for every single vehicle except for
That-
that
okay.
particular Chevy.
so that's was one of our questions. Do
Well,
you hold the titles for your vehicles and?
But now, Kate has the title. She's gonna hold the titles for all the vehicles
Okay,
in town, so this way
Okay.
here.
She's got them in her vault. She
Right,
put them in
everyone
her
knows
vault.
where, and then the fire code fall in
Okay.
case the building goes up.
save me my next question.
Yes. So the town clerk is the repository for our
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
vehicle titles. So I did have that conversation with her.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there was something else. Oh, the garden club may be getting a hold of you. I guess there's some ATVs went into the garden, but I don't have any details, so
Okay.
it's just a little
Down off of Foundry Street?
off of Foundry. Yeah, I don't know the extent. We're meeting this Wednesday, so we'll probably try to get some kind of more detail to you. Is there any, there's no, that we repeal that general purpose ATV ordinance. So is there any, do we have anything that would stop us from allowing an ATV
We didn't,
onto
it was,
Foundry?
we kept we amended the ordinance to say that they were only allowed in the spot that we'd ceded permission to the club to use.
All right, so it's still,
But it was any other
all right,
property in town they weren't supposed to be on, any other town property.
all right, so we can use that. Okay, so,
And they're not supposed to drive from Main Street to
You're not supposed to be using the class 5 road, I'm correct, so.
all right, so you'll probably hear from us then. I have no idea the extent of the damage or anything like that.
It's unusual to have the ATVs down that part of the area in town.
Could be just a solo,
Yeah.
somebody with a new toy, I don't know, it's hard to say.
Well, there was a lot of activity when the house up to our left was, there was still, because they used to park under their porch, back deck. And I see them come tearing down Second Street every once in a while, but then they wave and whatever. But it's been a while.
Okay,
Anything else? All right, thank you much.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Now, welfare department head.
Hi there.
Are we going to non-public
So
session?
would you need us to go into?
Yes, please.
Are we going to non-public session for the purpose of hearing welfare petitions?
So they went up like $300 some odd dollars.
So next time the chief comes in, maybe we can make a note of this under fire, under one of their standing items. Why is it that we don't go to the county dispatch? I don't understand, for everything. There may be a very logical reason they may not handle fire calls. I mean, it could just be as simple as that, but I think they do for some towns, so I'm wondering why we why we go through Dover.
Why we have two bills?
Yeah.
Good
And not just
question.
one from the county.
Good question. We'll put that on the agenda, we just made note of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Repairs and maintenance, town halls, or anything on the roof to be, has there been any action?
There's a couple of shingles left. Sorry.
No, they have not come back with another quote yet.
All right, so,
We have the one quote.
all right, but I'm also concerned about the cupola roof, so, do you, all right, so we think we might get a second quote from?
Yes, I just think it was a short week last week. so-
Yeah, okay, so would you be able to follow up with him? And if you can also, see if they want to give us any kind of a quote on the cupola,
Mhm.
assuming that we're correct and it needs reshingling?
Yes, and, Tom Clark said
Sullivan, yes.
Yeah.
That would be super if you could do that, thank you. All right, so we still have imperfect data on that. The financial consultant, you know, we ought to get a letter of engagement sometime soon, we can see what we want to do with that. The other thing is rec. So I don't know what's going to come our way. You know, as it is, we're up to, last time I looked at it was a 28-cent increase, I think, in the tax rate in our current budget. So this would, depending on how much non-supported expense there is,
Right.
non-supported by revenue, you know, we will invite them to make sure that they come to town meeting.
Yeah,
And
so,
maybe the budget hearing too.
so last year,
Yes.
what did we appropriate? I didn't bring my.
It was about
calculator. Was it
24,000.
24,000? Okay, so, what if, I don't even know if this is a sufficient number, if we're just, if we're playing around with the budget, that's all. I'm not saying, suggesting that we're gonna do this or we have to do this. What if we funded them at $10,000 with the expectation that we need to find offsetting for that? Figure out how much that would change the tax rate.
Sure,
Isn't that, because I'm trying to think about it, isn't that say for every 100,000, that's what, does that,
That's your tax base.
yeah, that was the real crux, that's what really made the.
I mean, I have the,
Bar move, the gauge move.
I can figure it out, you know, I've got the,
Yeah.
the.
I was gonna say, because I know you work on it during the week, so you're constantly looking at it.
Practically daily.
I know, so, like, well, we don't even know if they're gonna come back, so, but I mean,
I
if
plugged
we
in some
just-
numbers, it takes us into like, 30 some odd cents,
Yeah.
38, 39 cents.
Yeah.
If we put in the same figure, so in other words,
Right.
24,000 unsupported dollars,
Yeah, I'm
right?
not so sure I'm willing to do that, but, understanding that if they make a good faith effort to try to find it to be revenue neutral, I mean, I think it would be a good faith effort on our part to give it some sort of seed. I don't want to call it seed money, but it's insurance money. Just like anytime you start a new program, there's gonna, even they say there's gonna be offsetting revenue, there's a growing pain, they may need something. I'm not sure I want to go with the full 24, but that's that, but again, we haven't heard any presentation from them.
We haven't heard a
so-
presentation, and we could
but-
plug in, in my little scenario, we can plug in any kind of
Right.
play number.
Yeah, well, that was
So
all,
we
I was
can do
suggesting it
that.
could be
Yeah.
truly just a play number, I'm saying, but that might be a place to start, and you gotta go up or down from there. And I don't think we should go up, but it's a place to start, that's all I suggest.
Yeah, I mean, I could put in 10,000 just to, as I'm working with the budget. But we need to know, that just tells us that, it'll be 10,000 in unsupported dollars uncovered by revenue. That's not, they're gonna come in with something that's obviously gonna be more than that,
Right,
with some amount of offsetting revenue.
right.
So, but I
Right.
can tell you, and
So we should probably also go back through and look at the budget. We used that $24,000 saving, what we saw as a savings in summer rec to fund other things. And we may want to go back there and just reevaluate and see if all those, I think I already know the answer, to what I'm suggesting, but to see
Well-
if those are still priorities, that they still hold, that's
It's
all.
an interesting way to describe it. I mean, I wouldn't describe how we build the budget that way. I mean, we sort of build it from the beginning, every time. So it's not like
I think
we took
anticipated-
24, it's not like we took 24,000 and distributed out. We built it the first time by what we thought we were gonna spend in all of these lines, right? So we didn't, we didn't say we were gonna spend 10,000 more here because we didn't have recreation. So it's not, I guess all I'm saying,
I think we did in places.
well,
You
you're
might
welcome.
you might not have built the budget that way intentionally, but when we found out that we were gonna realize some savings, we said, oh, well, then we can allocate more money to other places. I don't remember where they were though, and if you don't, then that's fair enough.
Well,
too,
you could
but-
just look at the budget, it'll tell you where we increased. I mean, we had savings in the transfer station.
Right.
So that every year, you build it from scratch. You
I
say,
understand it,
here's
I'm not
where our
trying to
anticipated
assign
needs
motive or anything,
are.
I'm just saying,
Here's
we
where we think we're gonna spend money.
knew we were gonna save some money there, so we said, okay, there's some savings there, and we may be able to increase funding in other places. Are those still priorities? That's all I'm suggesting.
I just don't look at it that way. So I would just encourage you, Mike.
I'm not suggesting that every single line where there's an increase can be attributed to the 24,000. But we know that we increased lines because we knew we were realizing some savings.
I would encourage you to take a look at the lines that were
Okay.
increased. It says right there what the
Okay.
amounts are, and you can see if it suggests something to you. The only one thing that came to my mind that was sort of quick, and it was the service truck for the road agent at 20,000.
Take that out as well.
And we can't, the issue is that we can't readily put it back either, so,
Right.
but, and it means that, we're using, there's more wear and tear on a truck that's inherently more expensive, which is what we were trying to do by doing that. But, these are the kinds of decisions that you make with budget. So that was the one thing that I saw, so you can think about that, as you look at the budget.
Did we remove or suggest removing the command vehicle from the fire department? We did do that, didn't we?
No, we did not.
We didn't do it in the end?
At our last meeting.
We left them both in.
We left them both in at our last meeting.
All right, so we have currently, with our budget, about a little more than 26 cents.
Yeah.
So if we add, 10,000, that increases it to 31 cents.
Okay, so 3 cents.
If we do the whole 24,000, increases it to 37 cents. And that's with that 15,000 that we're not sure is gonna, that's with that 15,000 in revenue,
Right.
right? If you take that away, crazy things happen, minus revenue plus to reduce, so minus 15. Then we're, a little better than 43 cents.
Which is 29 something.
Uh,
Doesn't give me the number yet.
Doesn't give you
Yeah.
what number?
Oh,
Oh, that
Yeah.
depends, the rate itself, you can't, it's just, it's
Yeah.
all proportions.
Yeah.
Our proposed expenses this year to last year are such and such, and just revenues,
Right.
and so you take a look at what you think might be an increased tax rate.
Well, until we have some sort of proposal from them.
Yeah, but I'm happy, I could plug in the 10,000, and we could be sitting right this very minute at
So it increased 3 cents, okay.
a tax rate of just about 31 cents increase.
And I called the insurance company today, Chronix, left a message for Tammy, didn't get a response back about the basketball program and the summer rec program on insurance.
Okay, excellent. I sent email to the basketball program saying that we were still kind of looking at this and asked them for their bylaws. I don't think we received that yet, but it was a short week.
Yes.
It was a short week. Okay, joint loss. You wanted to talk about the chair of the joint loss?
Well, I'm chair right now, and the rules state that next year it has to go to an employee. And I'm more than happy to stay on as chair. I think our employees have enough on the plate. We're trying to bring in a transfer station agent maybe as well. So I didn't know if that was set in stone that it had to be transferred over to an employee, because they were not really
So,
keen on-
yeah, so joint loss is, we're mandated to have a joint loss management committee by the Department of Labor, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And they did require us to submit an annual report, which they no longer do because of our size. So, I mean, I mean, we need a chair, you're willing to serve. Do you have a thought on this, Michael? I mean, I'm,
Like, I'll be happy to step down when someone else wants it,
Yeah.
not mentioning it at the quarterly meetings.
yeah.
But as long as somebody has a pulse on
Yeah,
it.
there's still the equal number of management versus non-management in the committee, and equal, that's the other thing?
Sure.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
so,
there's Richard, there's Kevin, there's Caroline, myself, Jeff. We're gonna try to get transfer station agent, the chief, sometimes Joan as well.
okay, they would be management, right? They would be in the management part. So you need some supervisors and some
Well, Joan
worker
is,
bees.
Joan is lieutenant.
Yeah, we'd have to, I don't know, you have to, there are regs. So as long as we're
Right.
managing the makeup and we're working on
Yep.
employee concerns.
Yeah, I think the idea behind having a non-management person in charge of the committee is when there's buy-in from the employees,
Right.
and there's a sense of responsibility too on their part. So I think that they should have to. Is it our internal rule that says it, or is it the statute that says that they have to be? Okay, they have to rotate. If it's statute, we don't have a choice, so.
Right. That was the problem.
Do we know where is it set?
Department of Labor.
It's in the statute, then we don't have the luxury of saying that we're gonna not follow.
Well,
the
we
statute.
may, again, I'll just say, because of our size, I know that we're no longer falling in the same bucket that we fell in before, and that's why we don't have to do an
The statute says we don't
annual
have to.
report. So there may be some leeway. I would encourage you to do a little research, or have Caroline do some research. We're not gonna object, but, I think what we're struggling with is, well, it's hard for us to say, to do something that's against an RSA.
Right.
So,
Just wanted to
but
let
it
you
may
know.
not be RSA control, it may be like a reg from the DOL, not an RSA, and it may be that it doesn't relate to us anymore because we're not in the same compliance bucket that we used to be in because of our size.
Regulations can have
Shut
enforced
off.
law, 'cause we're all on the same
Yes, but it is a reg,
page. Right.
and I know that our.
But it may not apply
It may
to
not
any
apply,
law, you're right,
yes,
but,
yeah. So it's not an RSA, it's a reg.
all right.
I feel quite sure about that. All right, energy performance contracts. So our EEI contact was here today and started on the performance contract. We're hoping to get something for him by the end of December. And I don't think there's anything more to say about that. There's nothing preliminarily, other than he looked at the boiler and he said, oh, yes.
We can find some savings.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I was a little concerned that he wasn't looking at street lighting, and we know that that was a big deal, so I will also send an email to my contact, just to remind him. Okay. Insurance, all right, we've already done this update, so I've asked the basketball folks to send us their bylaws and told them we were still exploring insurance because we just found out about the trips back and forth. Recreation committee, anything else to say about that? This was here, I think, so that we could appoint and get an update, but sounds like we got an update.
Mhm.
Okay. Cruiser rebid. So we're still waiting for the title, so we can't
So, okay,
do
well, that,
anything. But Caroline did tell me this morning that there aren't, she says there are 2 people who are interested locally. So if it's easy to just, you know, when it comes that time, you know, maybe you just want to reopen the bid the way we did the first one. Or you can look at those online sites. I sent them to you, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay. All right. Stormwater, that's a placeholder so that I don't forget to check in with John Jacklin after the year. No info at Town Hall copier from Caroline. We're meeting this week on the Oak Street boundary.
Good.
Thank you so much. Paul's integrity, I
had
saw
that out.
something, okay, thank you. Can you
So,
speak to that, please?
And a butter has complained to the chair of the planning board of an unregistered vehicle at Paul's, parked over in the Paul's Integrity parking lot. I didn't notice it, honestly, when I drove home tonight, but I wasn't thinking about it. Apparently it's a pickup truck that's unregistered, which is against his site review plan. The approval to really relocate there, he's not supposed to have any unregistered.
So he's not allowed any unregistered vehicles?
Correct. So we need to reach out to him to see what the issue is. Is it someone's?
Should we send him a letter?
We want to, yeah, we want to make sure that it's.
Or just call and talk to him? We can do that, we can have Caroline.
That would be fine by me, just to find out what the story is. It could just be that it's in the process of being repaired. It could be a long-term storage, which is not allowed. I mean, it could be a whole host of things. I don't want to make any assumptions. I don't know why it's there.
All right, we'll.
But there's also
we'll check.
not motorcycles, snowmobiles are stored there as well. I want to make sure those are registered, because if they're not supposed to be there.
Okay, we'll do. And if it's unsatisfactory, then we can talk about it later.
Correct. Then we'll take corrective action, but we should find out.
Yeah, understood. Okay, town hall maintenance. We are going to meet with Mr. Height next week, about 7 o'clock.
Okay.
He sent plans, I think I have forwarded them along. And we've already said that we need to get working on the roofing issues, so we'll try to get that done this week. Credit cards, we're probably gonna schedule a rollout next week, not have it to date. Timber cutting letter. So Caroline mentioned to me, I don't remember the source, maybe somebody talked to Andrea, but there's timber cutting going on in the Wentworth field, like before the oil recovery.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, as you can see, on top of that hill too, when you drive over the overpass, that goes over Main Street, heading away from, heading towards Dover. When you look over, you can see that they're cutting onto that hill.
So shall we send them a letter reminding them that we have timber taxes and they need to fill out a form? So I'll have Caroline take care of that for us this week. The DRA, we're gonna take care of those later on. There is no movement on the WDC annual permit. Policies and procedures. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about some other things which were, I think, farther up in the agenda. So I drafted a PR on the parking stalls downtown and on the target range.
Yep.
And Chief filled in I hadn't looked at what he put, but he filled in the target range information for the police department and the Stratford County Sheriff Department. So I have it here. I don't know if you had, did you?
I haven't read that one, I read the parking stall.
Okay. Parking stalls fine? Parking stalls fine? Okay, so I'll do the parking stalls. If you want to take a look at this with his, what he filled in, he said he didn't change any of the other things I added. So let me know, and administratively, if you just say you're fine with that, then we can post that too, if that works, okay? Perfect. The other thing, the other reading material that I was suggesting, we don't have to talk about it tonight, I just wanted to set the stage for what I've done. And that is, I've written a procedure, I guess, for how to manage the ordinances. Not the passing of them, not the promulgating of them, just where are we storing them? What where do we keep our text editable version? Where do we keep the signed PDF? You know, those kinds of things. So that's what that ordinance processing thing is. So if you could just look that over, then we can work with Caroline to find, you know, either herself or maybe some of our other, either volunteers or whatever, to get these things in order. What we have.
So the town clerk is charged with keeping of the town orders.
Yes, she has a binder, but we can't,
On top more than, not just physically keeping them, but keeping them in order. I think is what the statute says, so, something to that effect, so we need to work with her too, right? Because part of her.
well, I will be happy to let her know, but as far as the online presence of all these things and how
Well,
to,
you're talking about the actual management of the ordinances, right? That part of that is her responsibility, so we don't want to work with her on that.
yes, I'll
You're
give
not
her a
suggesting
copy.
that we shouldn't.
Yes, you won't like
take
one of
charge,
the things
but-
that I put, but I did know that it wasn't going to fly. That is that there's discrepancy between the printed copy and the online copy. The online copy holds.
I think that the signed printed copy would be the one.
Well, it would be a signed online, it would be a scanned print, you know,
Oh,
we're keeping that.
I see.
So that we can make it available for people to look at from the website.
Hmm.
So take a read, just take a peek, and we'll keep it on the agenda. All right. Okay. Personnel, I haven't done any work in the hours things, but I'll do it as soon as I can, and purchasing, no action either. All right, so now we're at board member activities and updates. I'll start, I have stormwater tomorrow night. I have the Oak Street on Thursday, SRPC later on Thursday.
Planning board next week.
Yes, did something come through about that, or was it just that I'm remembering? Did that come from Pat, for the policy?
No,
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Or the email.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, I thought I saw something fly through. Jody?
Tomorrow I have a rec meeting. Looks like Sunday I might have a rec meeting.
Okay.
Thursday I have a Lamprey Regional meeting on our 2017 budget.
I had to update our budget with the hauling
The Halloween
increase.
5.
Yeah, so that did have an impact, increased it by about $600. So that's why, if that tax thing is a little higher, we had a number of things that came in that I had to stick in the budget.
Yeah.
If you see, like, folks that you don't recognize come in tomorrow night, when you have your meeting,
Yeah.
they may be wanting to be at stormwater. And I'll do the same.
Okay.
Okay. All right, building permits.
All right, we have two this evening. First one is 2016-174, 40 Wentworth Street. It's for HVAC work, plumbing work rather. Fee is $95. It's been reviewed by Mr. Clark also. Next is 2016-175, also 40 Wentworth Street. This one is the HVAC work. And it's a $90 fee. We're doing work on it for our fireplace. It's been reviewed by Mr. Clark. And that. At the end of building permits, we do have a letter, it should be in correspondence, but I have it in my folder, so I'll just read it. It's to the tax collector on behalf of the Cutter family properties, questioning their change in evaluation of their mill property. They're wondering the reasoning behind it, so. But that's that, that's all we have.
All right, so we will ask Chad, our Avatar folks, to answer that on our behalf. Would you like to take a look at it? You know, all I can think of is a change in zoning. Didn't that pass in March? So if in fact that, you know, my understanding is the valuation is supposed to represent, you know, your, you know, the potential uses. And so if the potential uses changed, that could explain it.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right. Do you have it posted?
They're getting smaller,
I see that.
budget
Well,
cuts.
see, it's the end of the year. And running low of funds.
Federal Energy Regulatory Commission sending us.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Federal Energy Regulatory Commission.
Is this about our hydro?
We are 4 pages. This one, all the terms and conditions of the order, and state policy, corporation. So, it looks like our paperwork, almost more just who they are. Yeah, just the per company itself, just one of those, order approving transfer of licensing.
So this is about our, yeah, I think it's just a report. Well, we can ask, I'm gonna hold on to
Report
this.
of who they are.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we are, I forgot about this. On Wednesday, there is a site examination of the dam. So this is for public consumption. It was posted probably a couple of weeks ago, I think, on our website. And then there's a public hearing at 12:30 in here on the FERC relicensing project. So it's being hosted by our current operators of the dam who are managing the relicensing. So, and I'll ask them, docket number. This is about, this could just be that our license is up. And that, I'll ask them and get back to this group. Okay.
Now from Comcast, and their good deeds that they've done throughout the year.
Wonderful.
With city year and Boys and Girls Clubs, Dartmouth College, Office of Outreach, blood drives, and so forth.
Okay. Thank you.
Purchase order. Move to accept purchase order 895 to Northeast Electrical under the town hall for 30 fluorescent light bulbs at a grand total of $36.90.
6390. That's what I'm looking at from here. 3690.
Sorry, $36.90. 63. Wow, guys, sorry. I have more of a question, but Michael, will you read it?
Mike, will you second?
Yeah, second. This is,
Um,
we don't need to have 5 other ones.
Why are we, if we're doing an energy audit, like, do we have any spare regular light bulbs till the energy audit comes in, or?
I would guess not. It's
Okay.
wearing them.
Okay. That's my only concern.
Yeah. I mean, we have to keep the building going.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a first and a second. I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, move to accept purchase order 834 to Mark Kuchar under cemetery. There was 2 packages of envelopes, 4 antifreeze for the water lines, 2 bait stations for decom for the tune in the shed, and steaks and rolls of mason line for a grand total of $51.47.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Move to accept purchase order 833 to Green Shadow Property Maintenance under cemetery for 1 fall cleanup in Newtown and Old Town cemeteries and 1 mowing of Newtown Cemetery for a total of $1,497.50.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Jody?
Aye, I'm sorry. This is to Ed Jansen. What can we understand?
Oh, it's addressed to Ed Jansen?
Yes. City of Dover Police Department, dear Mr. Jansen, budgetary purposes, and anticipate a 6% increase over the years for dispatch services of $5,742. That increase of $344 would bring next year's total to $6,086. The increase reflects additional staff to the dispatch center for the next fiscal year.
That's the amount that I had to change in our budget, that you prompted you to say, we're not using it. County dispatch, would you like to see it? That's the timber cutting that's going on in Wentworth Field.
Oh, okay.
It's going on here.
Okay. So, cutting taking place. Right. Do you want to make a note to Caroline?
No, I've already made a note that she's gonna write them a letter.
Okay, health insurance rate changes in dental insurance.
This is the memo that Caroline has written to go to our staff, our full-time employees.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's just, I thought you might like to see what they will be getting.
That would be wonderful. Prescription plan. Can I read this later? Do you want to read it out loud?
You can read it out loud if you'd like.
Expiring this year. Staff have voted in AB 10 with the prescription plan we mentioned last time with all the letters. New rates are as follows. For 2-person plan, employee contribution will decrease from $129 to $123. For family plan, employee contribution will decrease from $233 to $222. Select Board has also voted offer dental with a 50-50 cost share on a single plan only for employees, $10.24 per pay period. Family members are not eligible for this coverage. In order for that coverage, 3/4 of all full-time employees must elect the coverage. And this will start January 1st.
And those are per pay period costs.
Yes.
I want to make one small, well, it's not small, but I mean, that we listened to employees with regard to, we couldn't continue with the same medical plan, it's no longer being offered. So we had met with the employees and they recommended the AB 10. But the decision is the board's to make. Just want to make sure that you understood that.
Okay.
Okay.
Health Trust. Summary of proposed bylaws amendments. Public hearing is Thursday, December 8th at 12:30 in Concord.
We
This was
saw,
last week.
we saw that last week. That may be what they intend to change with the bylaws.
Okay,
I might just take a quick peek at that. See if
so we
there's
saw
any-
this last week, right?
We saw the notice. I don't know if we saw the bylaw changes.
Okay.
No, we just saw the overall,
Do you want to go kind of thing?
yeah. No, but I do want to see what they're changing. All right, is there anything else?
Nope,
That was everything. Community input? Yes.
I believe we have a historic committee meeting on Thursday night, December 1st.
Thank you, Celia.
I believe it's 7 o'clock.
Well, Leopold, let's see, if it made it onto my calendar. Did not.
Oh,
Wow, wait, I haven't gotten there yet, 7 o'clock, I have gotten there. I'm also attending a historical committee
yes, you are.
meeting on
Yes, over
Thursday
there.
at
Yes,
7
indeed.
apparently, in
And
this
I-
room probably.
And I forwarded to the historical committee that person's request for photographs.
Yes.
Whether, I mean, I know Ed Charpentier, I think he sent it back to the whole group, but I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I wonder if you
Chris
might want
responded
to.
too, so.
Oh, okay.
Chair responded.
All right.
And the discussion earlier around rec committee and noticing meetings triggered me to make sure that this meeting was noticed. We have been lacking on that as the historical committee.
Would you like me to send you a template to use?
I just talked to Caroline, stepped out for a minute, and she said just send her an email 24 to 48 hours in advance and she'll post it, at minimum.
I would encourage you, yeah, I mean, because it's not just, we then have to notify Tia, the library, you know, we have to put it in the post office, so, you know, there should be, the posting should be at least 24 hours ahead of the meeting. So just try to keep that in mind. We're doing a lot better, you know, we've got a lot more stuff going on, we're doing better, but we're not perfect. So, all right, thank you. Anything else? Yes, Nancy?
I just have a question. Tomorrow night's rec meeting, what time?
6:30.
600.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to be looking at veterans credit, so I'm going to ask for a motion.
So, I have a question before we do that.
Yes.
It says non-public contract. We have a contract, we can talk about it.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. So there are two,
Oh, that's just the fact.
yeah, so I'm going to ask for a motion a little bit to go into non-public. There are actually 3 reasons.
Okay.
So,
I want to make sure I get them all right.
yeah, so one is for reviewing
Yes.
requests for veterans credits. The other 2 are contractual.
Yes.
So contractual proposals that we're considering, they're still proposals, so they're proprietary nature, and so those are the 3 items.
Okay, so the first motion will be to go to non-public session to deal with contractual issues,
Mhm.
and then review a veteran's tax credit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we're all set with it.
Yes, I need a second on that, though.
I made the motion, I just want to make sure that, I was just asking if that's what you want for motion, but there are other people, I wasn't sure.
No, there was no.
Oh, okay,
yeah, we did
so I'll
not.
move that we go to non-public session for the purposes of dealing with a contractual issue.
2 contractual.
2 contractual.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And roll call, I guess roll call.
Aye.
Michael,
Joan, aye.
Suzanne, aye. Okay, so we're about to go into non-public. I will send you a roundup of that. And that's it.